selalu saudara. Beragam warna kita, suku tak selalu sama. Kau aku Indonesia, yang disatukan karena cinta. Karena kita Indonesia, jangan pernah terpecah belah. Walau kita berbeda, walau kita tak sama, tetaplah satu kita, kita Indonesia sesungguhnya.
Berkilauan samudra, terbentang khatulistiwa.
Di situ ku ada, bersamamu saudara.
Warna kita, suku tak selalu sama.
Kau aku Indonesia, yang disatukan karena cinta.
Voice of Indonesia.
Hello, Voy listener, and still here with me, Ray, in Indonesia today. And right now, we are going to talk about something really interesting today. And of course, as you know, today is a remarkable moment for Indonesia's cultural history, the returning of Indonesia's lost artifacts. And thousands of priceless artifacts are set to come home from the Netherlands back to Indonesia and making an important step in reclaiming our national heritage. And to explore more about this topic, we're joined by two distinguished guests from Indonesia, of course. First is Ajeng Ayu Arai Nikasi, Bihum and Arts lecturer from the Departments of Archaeology, University of Indonesia. And also we have Bapak Abi Kusno, the head of Museums and Cultural Heritage and the Ministry of Culture. Hello, how are you today?
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so without any further ado, today we're going to talk about some artifacts in Indonesia and maybe some history and preparation for Indonesia's arrival of the artifacts back to Indonesia. So first, I would like to ask Pak Abi first, as the museum and preservation perspective, Indonesia is set to receive thousands and thousands of artifacts from the Netherlands. And how well prepared are Indonesia Museum in terms of facilities, infrastructure, and preservation of the museum itself to accommodate these valuable items? Hello, Pak Abi, can you
hello.
hear me?
Well, right now actually we started to prepare the returning of the artifact from the Netherlands, but actually it's already been started several years ago. Not only from the Netherlands, but we receive also collection from Australia, and right now we're preparing the storage, include with all of the shelf, all of the drawer, and everything that related to preservation of the collection and the security of the collection. So uh, by the from the ministry, also from the Minister of Culture, Papa Dlizon also direct us to reinventarization of the collection, especially from the National Museum of Indonesia, Museum Nasional, and hopefully by the time the especially for the 28,000 collection, the boa collection from the Netherlands, we already prepare. We can storage all the collection by the start the next year in 2026, hopefully.
Okay, and now for Bu Ajeng, maybe I would like to ask you, from a historical perspective, as you see, how significant is the return of the collection back to Indonesia and from the Netherlands for the nation's archaeology and cultural identity? Since we, sometime in the past few years, didn't have it, now we have it back.
It is very significant because historically, our Minister of Education in the 50s, Muhammad Yamin, was already asked for that, and some objects were already returned home since the 70s. But these days, it is the largest of collections who's coming back. So this is very significant for Indonesian cultural heritage and history.
Okay. Now, since it is really significant, could you tell us more about the types of artifacts being repatriated and what aspects of Indonesia history or civilization that they represent, Bu Ajeng?
Okay. Back in the colonial era, there's an era of colonial collecting. So everyone is collecting collections, ethnographical collections, antiquities, archaeological collections, and everyone from the colonial governors to missionaries to just people like the rich people, and then the collections came abroad, and so that's what's returned to us these days are the statues from the Hindu Buddhist periods, or some paintings from Bali, the Pitamaha collections, and we'll be welcoming the fossils of Pithecanthropus erectus, Homo erectus, we call it now, and also some regalia of our national heroes. So that's the collection. That's what's returned home. But I hope also we can also collect back or receive back ethnographical collections. That is also important that already lost, and there's no available anymore in Indonesia at the moment. So, but we rarely do that, right?
Okay. Now, from what Bu Ajeng mentioned, for Pak Abi, I would like to ask you, since there are many collections coming back to Indonesia, what are the most complex collection from Indonesia that is quite hard to maintain, and what specific steps that Indonesia museums are being taken to make sure the security of the artifacts itself, or maybe the lost items from Indonesia?
Well, each collection has different methods to preserve or to store in the storage room. So if we talk about the difficulty, they all have different kind of methods. So right now, what we are doing to prepare all of these collection, not only the one that we going to repatriate, but also the one that we kept in museum. We maintain the microclimate of the collection, how the temperature, the humidity of the room, and also the security with all the CCTV alarm and everything that related to the secure of the collection. So the revitalization of the Museum Nasional, it's well, we not only prepare the exhibition, but we also prepare the backbone of the museum, including the storage. So yeah, with the difficulty, it's quite different but similar. So each collection have its own method and difficulties. So, but we are preparing the all of the equipment, the storage room, and also the human resources. This is the most difficult part, besides of the equipment. The human resources, how they can manage all of this preservation thing. It's under it's ongoing prepare in the museum and cultural property.
Okay, so how long does the process usually take? Since from the moment these artifacts arrive to when they are ready for public display, since what I know is in displaying it to the public needs a certain steps for the museum to take before it is going to be displayed. How long does it usually take?
Oh, well, it depends, but it all begin with the diplomacy part. So this is the part of the Directorate General of Diplomacy, Promotion, and also Cooperation under the Ministry of Culture. It's already ongoing, and if we talk about how long do we prepare for the exhibition, we already started now. So the prehistory exhibition in the Museum Nasional, it's going to be revitalized. So right now we're in the middle of remaking the storyline of the early civilization. So by the time the Dubois collection, especially the Homo erectus or Pithecanthropus Dubois collection, arrive, hopefully within the end of this year. It's already we can already the public can enjoy the exhibition by the end of this year, hopefully, in the new exhibition early civilization part.
Okay, since the museum is near my office in
Okay.
Radio Republik Indonesia, I can't wait for me to check out the new collection of the lost artifacts of Indonesia. And for Bu Ajang, I would like to ask you, once back in Indonesia, how do you think these artifacts should be preserved and maybe presented to the public, especially from the educational point of view, since it can be a new learning material maybe for the Indonesian education itself, especially the younger generation, that so that they can appreciate history to the fullest.
Okay. Yeah. I believe that we need to have a little bit different approach to do that, especially for younger generations. Probably with more gamifications. So like having an exhibitions is a must, of course, but it is not only telling you about that's what's returned from the Netherlands, but what's the importance of the objects, what's the stories, what's the colonial violence that told in that objects, the oppressions, the the injustice. We need to tell it from our perspective first, and then for the children. We can also make it like a gameplay or like a trivia or treasure hunt games, so we can having fun in the museums while learning history. So it's not a passive exhibition seeing only the objects and reading the labels, but yeah, more five sense experience, more inclusive and interactive approaches. It's a must, I think.
Okay, so I would like to ask the both of you, like maybe is there in the future like a collaboration between the Museum of Indonesia, especially with the education of Indonesia, speaking especially from the Ibu Ajeng specialties, that is the Department of Archaeology and Learning between Indonesia and museum itself. Is there like a collaboration in the future that maybe when the artifacts are ready to be displayed, is there the museum have the opportunity to give the students about the study tour to learn and see for the first time itself as the first view when it are being displayed?
I would love to. We used to have collaborations with the national museums, both from Universitas Indonesia or from my consultations firm, like Museum Ceria. We are playing with the children in the museums, and from with the Universitas Indonesia, we also used to have collaborations for the people with disabilities to visit the museums. But it is more about permanent exhibition, so probably for the next step, we are open to collaborate for the temporary exhibitions as well.
Okay, so from Pa Abi, maybe is what kind of cooperation that maybe you think that is best?
Well, now we're the Ministry of Culture. Actually, the culture is handled by its own ministry right now. Before we are joined with the education, or before with tourism ministry. So, but the cooperation is still going on now. We are very open, especially in the museum in Cagar Budaya, or Indonesian Heritage Agency, we call it in English. We are very open. We cooperate with every kind of institution, or private, or community, or even other ministries. So because we aware that we cannot do this alone, so we need to cooperate with many entity. So yeah, because the public awareness is a very important part, how to increase their awareness that the Indonesian culture is very rich. And because Pa Menteri, Pa Fadlizon, it's delivered in each his speech. He always said that Indonesia is a mega diversity. So this is what we have to tell the public, that the richness of Indonesian culture is very mega.
Okay, now finally for final question for Pa Abi. What are your hopes for the returns of these artifacts will mean to Indonesia and its cultural heritage?
Yeah, besides the public awareness that we want to increase, so the public can preserve also their culture, not only the tangible but also the intangible of culture, that they have to aware that Indonesia is a very big and very mega diversity. So besides that, the repatriation or the return of the collection of culture to Indonesia can complete the narrative of Indonesian mega diversity. This is what we hope for from return of the collection from Netherlands and other country, of course, not only Netherlands, but after this, maybe this is an ongoing diplomacy also with the Germany, and also with the British and India, that the narrative or the lack of collection that we're trying to deliver to the public can be very complete, and very show that the mega diversity of culture in Indonesia, it's quite big, and it's become our soft diplomacy to other country.
Okay. And now for Bu Ajeng. In your view, what does this repatriation symbolize for Indonesia's national identity and its role in cultural diplomacy going forward?
This is important because at the moment in the world, museums in the world is doing decolonizations of the museums. They are undoing the colonial works of every single parts in the museums. So repatriations is part of the colonizations of the museums. So by repatriating the collections, we are part of decolonizing our history, our colonial history. We are equal with the Netherlands. We are undoing the injustice of colonial past. But it's not it's not only stops in the repatriations, but we have to decolonizing the knowledge making of the objects returned. So that's important, very important for us at the moment.
Okay, thank you so much, Bu Ajeng and Pak Abi, for joining me in this special interview in Voice of Indonesia VOI Talk today, and talking about the returning of Indonesia's lost artifact. And the return of these treasures is not only a milestone, but also a reminder of how important it is to preserve and appreciate, also celebrate the history of Indonesia, to learn more about the history of Indonesia. And thank you so much for a listener for accompanying me in this special interview today in VOI Talk. Thank you so much for coming, and don't forget to always stay tuned with us in Voice of Indonesia, where you can always enjoy special interviews like this. Only on Voice of Indonesia, from Indonesia to the world.
Indonesia. VOI.
Lelahmu jadi lelahku juga, bahagiamu bahagiaku pasti berbagi. Takdir kita selalu kecuali tiap kau jatuh hati. Kali ini hampir habis dayaku membuktikan padamu ada cinta yang nyata, setia, hadir setiap hari.